Hello and welcome back. We'll kick off the basic level security chapters with a review of antivirus and anti-spyware software, show you how to check if Windows 7 recognizes if you have them installed, and then walk through making sure your software is up to date. I will be installing an antivirus product during this chapter so that you can see the changes in Windows 7 before and after. I will also make suggestions for a product if you've not yet purchased one. We'll take a look at other basics such as Windows updates to make sure that your core security updates are in place and active. Then we'll run a virus and spyware scan of your computer to make sure that all is well before moving ahead. Today's antivirus and anti-spyware software programs are quite advanced when compared to just a few years ago. Most off-the-shelf programs will protect you against both threats. Generally speaking, antivirus software has a few critical functions. First, to scan your PC hard drives and identify any existing malware, then warn you and give you options for cleaning up your system. Because the program runs at all times on your PC, it will monitor the other applications that you run, the links that you click on, and the internet websites that you visit, and then monitor what actions those programs are taking on your PC. That way, the antivirus program will catch potential dangers as soon as they activate on your system. Finally, they will update themselves from their websites to keep their virus, quote, signature files up to date. Anti-spyware software works in a very similar manner, but watches for different categories of malware. Windows 7 includes a product called Defender, which is Microsoft's built-in anti-spyware protection. MS Defender does a very good job as long as it stays up to date. We'll cover Defender shortly. Now let's talk about the Action Center. On the bottom right-hand side of your desktop is a series of icons which are called the System Tray. I will refer to the System Tray often in this series. In the System Tray, there is a small white flag icon which represents the Windows 7 Action Center. If you do not see the Action Center icon on your System Tray, simply click the Start button and then type in Action Center in the search field. It will show up on the list and you can select it from there. When you click on the Action Center from the System Tray, it will give you messages related to your antivirus and anti-spyware software in the security area. You will also see recovery and other items in the maintenance area. Back to the Action Center. Let's go to Change User Account Control Settings. You'll find that on the left-hand window pane. User Account Control is a safety mechanism built into Windows 7, where it will monitor what you and others do and what applications are doing on your PC. Whenever your system is requested to do something that could be dangerous, the user account control takes over. You may have noticed that when you install a new program or take other actions, the screen flashes and the user account control takes over, asking if you're sure you want to continue, or warning you that the action requested requires administrator authority. Then you have to accept and continue. This is the safety net that's built into Windows 7 to make sure that no change is made without your direct approval. This screen allows you to configure how sensitive this monitor will be, ranging from Never Notify to Always Notify. I strongly recommend that you leave this slider on the default setting, which will provide sufficient security warnings without being too annoying. Now let's get back to the Action Center. Now let's talk about Windows Update. Windows Update is a built-in Microsoft application that runs on a schedule to contact the Microsoft website and look for important Windows operating system and other updates. Microsoft Update will keep the Windows 7 operating system up to date so that it runs properly, supports new hardware that comes to the market, and so that it meets future security requirements. It will also check to see that all other Microsoft software installed like Office and Windows Defender is automatically updated. It's extremely important that you make sure Windows Update is turned on at all times and that updates are being applied without errors. Errors with Microsoft updates will be clearly reported here. I'm going to go ahead and click on Windows Update now and take a look at the options. One option is Change Settings in the left window pane. I'm going to go ahead and click on Change Settings. I strongly recommend that you leave the update method set to the default, which is Install Updates Automatically. You can select the frequency and time of day so that the process does not interfere with anything else your PC may be doing at the time. These updates should be checked daily. I'm going to go ahead and head back to the Action Center. Now let's click Check for Updates on the left window pane and allow your PC to connect to the Microsoft Update website and check for available updates. Of course, your PC must have an active internet connection available. You see that it found 3 important updates. That number could change depending on how many updates it finds. Now let's go ahead and install all the updates found during this search so that we know Windows 7 is up to date. I'm going to click on Install Updates. Now what it's going to do, it's going to go out, create a restore point so that you can recover back to the state before the update was installed, and then it's going to download the updates from the Microsoft website and install them on your PC. We'll come back when it's complete. Okay, now the Windows updates have been successfully installed. There's a couple of different conditions after they're installed. One is that it has to restart the PC, and sometimes it will not have to. In this case, it's telling you that Windows needs to restart the PC to complete the operation. So I'm going to go ahead and press Restart Now, and then I'm going to come back in a minute or two when the PC's back up and running, and we'll continue the lesson. Okay, so the PC's restarted after the Windows system updates, and now let's go back to the Action Center and see what's changed. You'll notice that down in the system tray, the little flag that denotes the Action Center is not there. It's not viewable. That's because that message, that alert that it was giving us before, has been taken care of. So now the way to get to it, as I mentioned, is you can go to the Start, go to the search field here, just type Action Center. When you do, it will appear on the list and you can choose it. So now we're back to the Action Center. At this stage, we've reviewed the Action Center to see what it does and what can be configured using this tool. Then we made sure that all Windows updates were applied. You can see that my PC doesn't have any virus protection because it's a fresh Windows 7 installation. The next step would be to install an antivirus application and configure it to be safe. There are many products on the market today that will provide strong security for your PC against malware and other threats. You will find many listed on the Microsoft website that are approved and recommended. I'm going to go ahead and launch Internet Explorer, and then we'll see what Microsoft has on their list for approved products. You'll see many familiar names here, I'm sure. Any of these will do the job in terms of protecting your PC. Some even have free packages. Actually, I use a free package, and it's highly rated. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you have Panda and Viper, you have PC Tools, CA, WebRoot, AVG, Norton, F-Secure. Microsoft has a series of products, McAfee, just to name a few of the top brands. Before moving ahead, I want to highlight the Microsoft Security Essentials product. Microsoft has combined their Windows Defender and antivirus solutions into a single product known as Security Essentials. Security Essentials is a free download from the Microsoft site, and at the time of this demonstration, it was available for Windows XP as well as Windows 7 systems. This is an excellent option for users who have not purchased a product and are looking for a free integrated solution. It may not have all of the features and flexibility of other products, but because it's a Microsoft application, it will be updated and maintained within your Windows update process that we've covered before that's already part of your operating system. Again, probably no better in terms of security and protection, but possibly a simpler to manage solution for many users. If you're interested in this option, just visit the Microsoft website at www.microsoft.com/security_essentials for more information on how to download their product. For the upcoming demonstration, I'll be downloading and installing a third-party product for malware protection so that users can take note of the entire process. Remember that all of these products will have similar configuration and setup options. It's more important for us to cover the concepts and key points that you need to know to keep your system protected than it is to spend too much time on any one product. For this exercise, I will download and install the AVG antivirus product. It's very highly ranked by independent authorities, and as you see here, it is approved by Microsoft. AVG offers 3 levels of product, including a free version. Although free, it provides a very strong antivirus protection as well as information about harmful websites and other protections. I'm in no way endorsing this product, however it is highly rated and it's free. I've used it across many systems for years and had very good results. So let's go to the product, grab it, install it on the PC, and make sure that we're protected and take the next steps. I happen to save the link here. It takes me directly to the free download site. Again, I'm not referring you to this program. This is just something that we'll go through the exercise with. It's a great piece of software. It works and it's free. Okay, there you go. While that works, we'll go ahead and pause, and when we're ready to install, we'll come right back. Okay, I'm back. We've downloaded the free AVG software product for anti-spyware and antivirus. I'm going to go ahead and install this now, and once it's installed and up and running, then I'll come back and we'll go through some of the important configurations. Now, these aren't going to be specific to AVG. These types of settings that we're going to go over would apply to any type of program, any brand, any vendor that you get. So they're all tied together. And then we'll go back to the action panel and see what's changed and show what you do now that you have this installed to make sure that you're safe. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this installation, and then I'll come right back to you as soon as it's finished. Okay, the AVG free antivirus software has been installed. The installation is completed, and you see now that it's added an icon to the desktop. So as for all of these programs, you can look in the system tray and you'll see an icon related to your antivirus program because they run all the time. So it's sitting down here, and it should always be sitting down here. If for some reason you don't see your antivirus or anti-spyware software program running in the system tray, check on its status because that's a problem. I configured it pretty much standard out of the box. The two things that you need to be concerned about. Number one, how often does it go out to the website and get updates for its signature files? That should be at least every day. You should set that to every day that it should go out on the internet and automatically download the latest signature files. The other setting is how often you want to run a scan of your PC hard drive to see if there's any infections or malware. At least once a week. If you can stand once a day, that's even better. All right, so I've configured this PC for updating every day and running scans once per week. All right, so now let's head back to the control panel, which is down here. It's still running. I'll click on it and bring up the control panel. And basically you'll see that the message on antivirus software being installed is missing because now there is a product installed. So we don't have to see that warning up here anymore. All right, so what we've done is we satisfied the basic needs for Windows Action Center, that the Windows updates are configured and updates are current, and that the antivirus software is installed. Let's go ahead and drop down the security option here and see what the status is of our system, right? So basically we've gotten the core components. The Windows updates are current, so Microsoft Windows 7 is updated and ready to go, and the virus protection and the anti-spyware protection is in place and active and ready to go. So the last thing that we want to do now is we want to run a scan of your hard drives to make sure that you didn't have a problem prior to the beginning of this series before we move forward. Okay, so now we're going to run the AVG Free 9.0 antivirus scan of our entire computer to make sure that everything's safe. Again, it doesn't matter whether you're running one of the other products or the AVG product. This process is almost identical across the board. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the AVG product. Let it come up now, and then we're going to see something called Computer Scanner. Now again, if you're using a different product, the menus are going to look a little bit different, and your activities in terms of clicking around and navigating are going to be a bit different, but it's basically the same concept. You're going to look for how you scan your computer. We're going to do that now, and then it gives us a couple of options, as most will. We can scan the entire computer or specific location. So why would we have two choices? Well, the default would be to scan the whole computer. You want to scan every one of your drives to make sure that there's no malware anywhere on your system. But let's say that you just copied a new file over to a known safe system. You already scanned it, everything was fine, everything passed, but now you've copied a file, you've downloaded a file, a friend of yours gave you something on a thumb drive, whatever it may be, and you've copied it to a specific directory. So you may want to just scan that specific directory because you know this is where I just copied this new file. I don't need to scan my entire computer. So that's one other possibility. I'm going to go ahead and click scan the entire computer, and what it's going to do is begin the scan, and it's going to go through the entire system one file at a time and compare each file on the system with the new updated signature file from AVG to make sure that there's no matches in terms of any known malware. All right, this is going to take a few minutes, so what I'll do, as always, is come back as soon as it's finished, and then we'll continue. Okay, so we were running our antivirus search using, in this case, the AVG product, and this is the results screen. It found no infections during the scan of any kind and no issues. So basically a start and stop, date and time stamp, and then some of the other vital information. But what's important is that nothing was found. So that's important for us to move forward. So now we know that your system is clean. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And now let's take a look at the Windows Defender. That's the built-in anti-spyware product that Microsoft Windows 7 has built into it. The best way to get to that is to go ahead and click on the Start button. Then in the search window here, we're going to type Defender. And then it should go up and find the Windows Defender product. There it is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that from here. And then the main Windows Defender home page comes up. So basically there's very little information here because this is a brand new install. What it shows, the last scan time, well, we haven't done a scan yet. This is a new install. When it's scheduled, and this is out of the box. Out of the box, it will do a scan at 2 a.m. every day. A scan should be run every day, as I mentioned was recommended. That's perfectly fine as long as your PC is in fact running at 2 a.m. If not, we'll look at how to change that configuration later. Real-time protection is on. That means it's running all the time in real time. And then the definitions file, that's the last version of the file. That's something that the updates we talked about, that it updates from the website at Microsoft on a daily basis. So let's go up and let's click on Tools. And then from the Tools and Settings area, let's look at Options. And then you'll look at the scanning options here. It says daily at 2 a.m. as we talked about. And you can change this time if it's possible that your PC is turned off by that hour, by 2 a.m. in the morning. Set it to some time that maybe you're not heavily using the system, but sometime during the day that you know the PC will be on. There's several other things that you can change. I highly recommend leaving all of these options as they come out of the box, with one exception. Looking under the Advanced section, scan email. If you have an email system installed on your PC, I would highly recommend that you enable that feature so that it will go in and it will look at your attachments and your emails from your email inbox to make sure that there's nothing malicious there. Other than that, all defaults, all works very, very well. Nothing really that you need to change here. I'm going to go ahead and click Save and save that one change that was made. So now what we're going to do is move forward and run a scan using the Windows Defender program. We had done one with the AVG Antivirus. Now we're going to use Windows Defender and run a similar scan. So I'm going to go up and click Scan. And it's going to go ahead and automatically scan my computer. It calls it a quick scan. A quick scan is very effective. I've not had problems with it. You can change that configuration to a more intrusive scan. It takes much longer. Not sure that it's necessary. Something you can do if you feel like you have a problem and it's not identified by this quick scan, then you can go ahead back to options and change the scan type to a more intrusive scan. But for the most part, as I mentioned, quick scan is perfectly fine. So it's going to go ahead and do its thing. As always, I'm going to put this on pause and come right back to you as soon as it completes. Okay, so the Windows Defender scan is completed. You'll see here the messages say that the computer is running normally, meaning no files were found with any kind of harmful malware or software. So we've accomplished a couple of things. We've used the antivirus software, in my case the AVG software, in your case maybe a different brand, to scan your hard drives to make sure that you're safe and that you're protected against any malware. And then we've run the built-in Windows Defender product to do the very same. If either one of them came up with any kind of an issue, you should follow the directions right there on the screen to delete the files or isolate the files. Sometimes they'll talk about putting them in some type of a vault or isolating them. If you do get any kind of message like that and your scan doesn't run cleanly, take whatever action is recommended by your program by deleting it or isolating it. Then you might want to run the scan again to make sure that it goes clean. Bottom line is we want both the Defender scan and the antivirus scan to run completely clean as they have here in this example before we continue on with this program. Alright, so it looks like everything's clean on this system. I'll assume that you're going to get to that point in your system and then we'll move forward. Okay, that pretty much covers all the items for this chapter. Let's take a look at a checklist of what we've covered. So the first thing we did was define what the difference between antivirus and anti-spyware software is, what it does, and how it takes actions on your PC to protect you. We reviewed the Windows 7 Action Center, did some configurations there, and showed you what's important to begin with. We reviewed user account control, did some configurations there, and showed what's critical. We reviewed and configured Windows Update and made sure that we have the latest updates before moving ahead. We reviewed the Microsoft approved antivirus list. I chose one from that list that happens to be a free product. I installed the antivirus software on the PC and did some basic configurations. We reviewed and configured MS Defender for anti-spyware defense. We ran a virus scan, and we ran a spyware scan. And we've certified that the PC is clean to proceed. All right, see you in the next chapter.